Today, I'm going to give you guys information that maybe you've never heard about before, such as like what exactly brand analytics and search query performance are covering and not covering, and product opportunity explorer, and why there's so many different search volumes in Helium 10 and in Amazon, and much, much more. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Are you browsing a Shopify, Walmart, Etsy, Alibaba, or Pinterest page, and maybe you see a cool product that you want to get some more data on? Well, while you're on those pages, you can actually use the Helium 10 Chrome extension Demand Analyzer to get instant data about what's happening on Amazon for those keywords on these other websites. Or maybe you want to then follow up and get an actual supplier quote from a company on Alibaba.com in order to see if you can get this product produced. You can do that also with the Helium 10 Demand Analyzer. Both of these are part of the Helium 10 Chrome extension, which you can download for free at h10.me/extension. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I'm your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And first off, let me just apologize because I did what I hate other people to do, which is do like some clickbaity title here for this podcast. I'm not sure how you landed on this, but you might have seen I put there like, can't trust Amazon data. But if you notice, I put those in quotation marks because those are not my words. But the reason why I did something so cringe with such a terrible title is because I wanted to get people's attention. Did want you guys to stop the scroll because I do think this is a super, super, super important episode. One of the most maybe important ones I've done. This is I'm going over stuff that it took me like over a month to compile. I did like some case studies to really do a deep dive into the state of what search volume is nowadays, and also what's going on with these Amazon data points and how to explain the contradictions between them. So I think you guys are going to get tons and tons of value. Now, first of all, the reason why that quote was in quotations, like you can't trust Amazon data. If you guys remember a couple of weeks ago on the Weekly Buzz, we were talking about different news stories, such as Amazon's holiday ad glitch, cost add up, where it turned out that Amazon was showing the wrong PPC data. So people were overspending, underspending, and people got kind of messed up because of that. And then, later on in Facebook, you would see posts like here's one from, I'm showing on the screen here, from Cara, was saying, hey, I got this in my Amazon app, this reporting error for business reports and the manage orders page. So a lot of people were, lately have been seeing some discrepancies on Amazon numbers. And, that just happens. That doesn't mean you can't trust Amazon data. And that's what people were saying, oh, I can't trust Amazon data. I mean, at the end of the day, Amazon, fixes whatever issues. It doesn't matter how big or small of a company you are. Data is not going to be perfect. Computers break down, algorithms break, whatever cases are. But, whether it's Helium 10, whether it's Amazon itself, whether it's a smaller company, everybody gets, things in order. So this is not like something to like panic over, or have conspiracy theories that Amazon's going to hide sales from you or give you a bunch of fake clicks and, charge you when you're not supposed to be charged and things like that. Things could happen, here and there, but Amazon usually, corrects itself just like it's doing in that ads situation. Now today, like I said, we're going to do a little deep dive into search volume. We're going to talk about how it differs, like, with search query performance dashboard, with your brand analytics and product opportunity explorer. And the bottom line at the end of the day is you need to know what data you can trust. So can you trust Amazon data? Can you trust Helium 10 data? And not just that, when there are so many different metrics and analytics out there, you've got tools and you've got Amazon giving you data, if you can trust it all, first of all, can you trust it all? And then if the answer is yes, well, how do I deal with this information overload? Like which one do I act on? Like I got this thing telling me this search volume. I got this thing telling me this dashboard and analytics part. How do I put all of this together? And at the end of the day, use this data to increase my sales on Amazon. That's what we all want to do, right? And so that's what we're really going to be going over today. All right, now, first of all, let's talk search volume, right? This is probably one of the most important metrics when you're doing research, whether it's product research, keyword research. But what is search volume? Why is it important? So when we're talking, in the Amazon world, I think this is kind of a word that, regardless of what you're talking about, whether it's Google or other things, it kind of means the same thing. But let's just talk specifically about the Amazon ecosystem when we use the word search volume. It basically means, hey, the velocity of how many times people are searching for a certain keyword. And usually, historically, we're talking about this in the monthly kind of context. Like, hey, this is about how many times customers have typed in this certain search volume in the last 30 days, in the last month, monthly, historically, whatever the case may be. Usually it's monthly. Now, for those who don't know, years ago, Amazon used to make that data point public. It would tell you the search volume, the kind of like 30-day search volume. Now, the interesting thing was that it wasn't like exact number of searches for the previous 30 days. It was kind of strange the way that Amazon displayed it, but hey, it worked. I mean, this was something that Amazon was giving out. No other platform that I know of, even to this date, was exposing that information, to its sellers. It was literally telling you, hey, here's the estimated search volume velocity based on what was going on for the last week. So that's why it was kind of weird for some people. So this search volume was the monthly search volume, but every week it would change. And you couldn't like add the numbers up. Like it wouldn't make any sense. Like theoretically speaking, like if you started counting search volume on day one, and then you had a monthly search volume for 1 week, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, well, you should be able to add some of those up, and that should have equaled the full, month, right? And it didn't, in other words. And so, it was determined that, hey, this is obviously kind of more like a velocity. Like, so based on what's happening this week, this would be kind of like the projected monthly search volume if things kept going as is. All right. So that's why the numbers kind of look weird, but hey, at the end of the day, it was cool. It was usable. All right. So that brings me to the next question. Why do we even care about search volume? And then why was that number, even though it's not an exact number, why was that usable? Why does it continue to be usable? Well, the reason why we want search volume is we want to prioritize keywords. There are tens of millions of keywords on Amazon. Not everyone relates to your listing, but there could be hundreds, there could be thousands of potentially relevant keywords to your listing. You do not have room for hundreds of thousands or thousands of different keywords to put them one by one. So when you optimize your listing for the Amazon algorithm, you have to prioritize for the keyword phrases, first of all, that have the potential to bring you the most sales, all right? The highly relevant keywords that are going to bring you the most sales. And you want to get those in phrase form in your listing, especially in your title, right? So again, since you can't put 300 keywords in phrase form, you might only have 10 or 15 keywords that you have room to really optimize your listing around. And so the way that you would prioritize that, obviously, number one is relevancy, right? If I have an egg tray and there's a keyword, let's say, egg tray is a keyword, that's obviously super, super relevant. Now you could have a keyword such as, boho decor, which maybe you want to be indexed for, but it's not as relevant. It's not as high of a potential to bring you a sale if somebody searches that and sees your product as it is for wooden egg tray or egg tray if your product is an egg tray, all right? So you could have up to 100, though, maybe super, super relevant keywords to your product. Again, I say it because this is important to understand. You can't put all of them in your listing in phrase form. You can't optimize around 100 different keywords. So the way that sellers prioritize which ones they are going to really focus on usually is by search volume, because search volume sometimes is indicative of how many potential sales it can bring you, right? If 10,000 people search for a highly relevant phrase and another equally relevant phrase only has 50 search volume, well, obviously the one that has 10,000 searches is going to give you more sales than that one that only has 50. Hope that makes sense, all right? Okay, let's start going into Amazon data points. The first one I'm going to be talking about is the Product Opportunity Explorer, and spoiler alert, this is the one that I don't want to say dislike, but let's just say like the least out of the Amazon data points and even comparing to Helium 10. All right, and let me explain why. Let's go ahead and hop right into it. For those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you can follow along. If you're watching, or if you're just listening to this in your car or something, I'll try and describe it. But Product Opportunity Explorer is available for everybody who are Amazon sellers, even those who do not have brand registry. Now, the way it works, it doesn't, first of all, the first thing is that it has a very limited number of keywords, like a very, very small number compared to the millions of keywords that Amazon has. There's only a small number of keywords that it actually has data on. But for example, let me type in, as you can see here, coffin shelf. Now, how this works is it works by niche, all right? And then it tells you the search volume of the whole niche. So it says, first of all, the search volume, again, that's what we're talking about here, 85,000 for coffin shelf. And what that is it refers to the last 360 days, and it's not for the keyword coffin shelf. What it means is all of the keywords that are in the coffin shelf niche. All right. Now, first of all, this is just kind of a little bit strange, because if you see here, it says 85,000 search volume, like I said. But if I were to add up all of the search terms in this niche, right here, it says coffin shelf by itself has 53,000. Coffin bookshelf has 15,000. But first of all, these numbers, which also says 360 days, does not even add up to this number that it says here is the 360 days. So that's the first reason that I'm kind of like, I don't really want to, use this too much if I have something better. But it still gives some good information for those of you who don't have brand registry, don't have Helium 10. You have absolutely no way to see how many times people are searching a niche. This is going to be good. But here, this niche, according to Opportunity Explorer, is made up of about 7 keywords here, including coffin shelf. All right. So what I like about this is that I can actually see here the conversion rate the last 360 days. All right. This kind of sucks because conversion rates change throughout the year. So like I'm sure it's different around Halloween time or something, but at least this is information. This is how, literally from this product, Opportunity Explorer, this is how I launched the coffin bookshelf. And as you can see, our product right here is the #1 selling coffin bookshelf. And the reason I discovered that niche was looking at Product Opportunity Explorer. So again, I'm not trying to bag on Product Opportunity Explorer here, but I like it more for product research as opposed to keyword research. Now here, if I actually click on the product, this is kind of cool. Like our Project X coffin shelf showed up here. I can actually dive in and see some more information. Like I could see the history of the clicks and reviews. Now again, here's another reason why I'm kind of like, I'm not sure about this, because like, for example, right here, it says that last week we had 900 clicks overall for this product. All right. Right here, it says 900 clicks the last week for this product, last 7 days. But if I go over to the search query performance that we're going to be talking about later, and this product, like if you see the entire number of clicks, the #1 click was 187, and then there's 13, 9, like it only adds up to like maybe 275 clicks. So again, this is just like, since there's not that much documentation on what this is, like I'm not even going to look at this, because how in the world can this be 900 clicks? But in search query performance, it's 275. As you guys I'm going to show you in a little bit, search query performance now has crazy amounts of documentation to really let us know what it's talking about. So I'm going to go with the search query performance on this. Now, the other thing in Product Opportunity Explorer I like doing is clicking on trends. All right. So if I click on trends, this is showing me a chart of the search volume of all of the keywords in this coffin shelf niche. Like I said, it was like 8 or 9 keywords, and it's showing it. But again, the reason why I really don't like to use this as gospel is, remember, it's showing me 85,000 search volume total. But if I were actually to go week by week, right here with the information on the same exact page, it's displaying to me, it kind of gets close to this 85,000 number, but it is over this 85,000 number. So it's really strange, like how in the world I'm on the same page and it's 360 days data where this search volume changes over time. All right. So this is why I do not like using Product Opportunity Explorer in order to kind of like gauge the search volume, because there's just a lot of inconsistencies. But again, if you don't have brand registry, you don't have Helium 10, you don't have another tool, you're kind of stuck with this. And it is better than nothing. All right. Hopefully the niche you're looking for is in here. But again, for the majority of you, I'm hoping that you guys either use Helium 10 or you have brand registry, and then you're going to understand why it's better to use these other tools for search volume. All right, let's go into brand analytics now. Again, you have to have brand registry, a registered brand, in order to use this. And this before was my favorite. This was before my favorite part of Amazon Analytics was brand analytics. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert at the end. Because of this case study I did, is no longer my favorite for some things. Like, it's not as great as it used to be, but it still is amazing. And there are some things which I absolutely love it for. So let me explain how brand analytics works briefly. If you guys already know, still stick around. This will still be good. The reason why I used to love Amazon brand analytics, and I still do, was that it gives you up to like 2 million. And now it's up to 3 million of the top keywords that are searched every single day or every single week. So that's a cool thing. You can look at it on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis, or a quarterly basis to see which are the top keywords. And this search frequency rank, this basically means, think of this as like search volume. So the number one most searched, or the search frequency rank number one, for example, in December here was women's gifts for Christmas. All right. That means, let's just say this was searched 3 million times. Well, this second one, men's stocking stuffers, his search frequency rank of 2. Well, maybe it's, searched for 2,900,000 times. All right. So it ranks all of the 2 or 3 million keywords in order of how many times it gets searched. All right. So this is really cool. You can look up any keyword. It can be about any part of, Amazon. It doesn't have to be related to your niche. All right. So even if you don't have a product, as long as you have brand registry, you can do some research with this to kind of see, how often something is being searched for in relation to other keywords, and also what were some of the top 3 clicked products for it. Now, the new kid on the block, we did a deep dive into this, and it keeps getting better and better, is called Search Query Performance. All right. Now, this is a little bit different, Search Query Performance, because this, it still has to do with only if you have brand registry, but now it only is about products that you are selling. Like, you have to be actively selling a brand for this to populate, and you're only going to see keywords related to the brand or products that you are selling. So for example, I'm looking here at the brand Manny's Mysterious Oddities, and it's giving me like, looks like, almost 1,000 keywords that brought me the most traffic using Amazon's algorithm. It kind of takes in consideration impressions and clicks and add to carts and things, but way, way more detailed than brand analytics as far as telling me what's going on with my own product. And it gives us a lot of different data. This is something that's new. Like in the last couple of months, Amazon has really opened up to tell you exactly what it is referring to. All right. So like, for example, it's telling here that the search query score, this orders the queries from top performance to least performance. We share the top 100 scored queries. Now this is much more than just the product opportunity explorer, because look at this. When we're talking about search volume, it's telling me the number of times it was searched, again, either quarterly or weekly or monthly. Now, again, do you remember what that product opportunity explorer said for Coffin Shelf for 1 year? It said 55,000 searches, right? Look at this for just 3 months. Product or search query performance is saying Coffin Shelf had 65,000 searches. So basically it's saying that it had more searches in 3 months than Product Opportunity Explorer is saying that happened in the whole year. Now, something to note about how search queries volume is kind of calculated inside of the search query performance. It says here, we include all queries issued within a day. For example, if the same query, I'm quoting from Amazon, by the way, if the same query is issued by the same customer session in a 24-hour time period more than once, we will include all of those instances in the total query volume. Also, clicking on the next page of search results will increment search volume. So I'm going to show you kind of like I played around with this to try and, determine what was considered by search query performance and what's not. But in a nutshell, the difference between this is that it's denormalized. All right. A lot of the other Amazon tools, such as brand analytics, are like normalized, meaning that let's say I search in the morning for coffin shelf, and then I go to page 2, I go to page 3, I go to page 4. 12 hours later, I go back and I search coffin shelf. I click back. I click another product. I click back. In brand analytics and perhaps other Amazon tools, including like Helium 10, this all counts as only one search. All right. Now, in search query performance, this is counted all of those times. Like all those things I said, it might be 11 searches, potentially. So again, guys, the search volume is like way higher than you're going to see anywhere else because it's counting these things over and over again that maybe some other tools, even inside of Amazon, is not counting. Now, Helium 10. Helium 10 has the most historic data for search volume of any tool out there. And we were actively getting that search volume number from Amazon for years when it was being open. So that's why we have the most data. And what happened when Amazon closed it is since we had all that historical data, we were able to develop an algorithm, using new data points, plus using what we knew how Amazon's algorithm worked in order to estimate search volume, even though Amazon did not have that data point open. So the way that Helium 10 search volume works is different than anything we've talked about so far, other than the original old Amazon. So the way that Helium 10 calculates search volume is the same that the old Amazon algorithm used to do it that was public, but it's different than Product Opportunity Explorer. It's different than brand analytics, and it's different than search query performance. So for example, let's say I would enter in garlic press inside of Helium 10. I could see that it says a search volume of 75,000. This basically means that it doesn't mean that there's been exactly 75,000 searches in the last 30 days, but based on last week's velocity of searches, then this is kind of like the monthly sales velocity of what it would be, 75,000. Again, going by the old way that Amazon used to calculate it. And then so going week by week, I could see that this number changes. We see here 91,000, 85,000, 65,000, 75,000, etc. So that's how Helium 10 calculates search volume. So when you see a number in Magnet and Cerebro or anywhere else, this is again the estimated monthly search volume, and every week this number is going to change based on what is happening the previous week on Amazon. Now there's only kind of like one other competitor out there, that's on the map. Kind of the number, I think the consensus number 2 out there is definitely Jungle Scout. Now, how they calculate search volume, I obviously don't work there like I work at Helium 10. I can't tell you exactly how they're doing it, but you see a similar number here. Like for garlic press over there, it was like 88,000. I think in Helium 10, it's at 70 something thousand. Now the part that I can't understand though is like you saw how we had we had the weekly historical data here. Well, it looks like Jungle Scout has something similar, but as you see here, it said 88,000 in the last 30 days, but then they actually go week by week. And now the weird thing is, if I would add this up, like 20,000 is the first week, and then it says 15,000 the previous week, 13,000, and then 16,000. So if you add all of this up, it's like barely even half of 88,000. So how, Jungle Scout adds this up? I'm not sure. Is this a sign that it's probably kind of inaccurate if the numbers don't even add up, kind of like the Product Opportunity Explorer? Could be, but again, I checked all their videos to try and figure out how in the world, why this number doesn't match up, but I couldn't find it. But in a nutshell, the number is very similar to Helium 10. And as I'm going to show you, across the board, all of the numbers are usable almost, whether you're using Helium 10, Jungle Scout, Product Opportunity Explorer, search query performance. I'm going to show you that in action, you're almost always going to end up with the same kind of decision, no matter which tool you're using. So I'm not trying to pee on Jungle Scout's leg or something, but if you're trying to look at more accuracy, obviously Helium 10 is more accurate. Now, the reason why I think using tools like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout is a little bit more advantageous than, for example, search query performance is because I can look up any keyword. It doesn't have to be even related to my brand. I might be wanting to, like first we were selling coffin shelves, and then we were going to sell egg trays later, right? Well, if I only was using search query performance, I would not have been able to do any kind of keyword research for egg trays, because the only thing that I was going to get data on search query performance would be coffin shelves, right? But if I was using Helium 10, if I was using a tool like Jungle Scout, I could do keyword research and look at search volumes of any niche. So that's one advantage of using Helium 10. It's also an advantage similar of using brand analytics, which again allows me to look up any keyword. All right, now the first case study I just did like a random experiment where, like, hey, let's say I was re-optimizing my coffin shelf listing and I really wanted to get more relevant for goth and gothic related keywords. And I came up with a list of 5 keywords that to me were the most searched, right? Based on whichever one I looked at first. I don't even remember what I looked at first, but I'm going to show you how you can validate this. And then I'm like, okay, now how do I prioritize these 5 goth or gothic related keywords so I know which one to put in my title? So what I did was I went in, I checked the search frequency rank in brand analytics to see what Amazon said was the most searched to the least searched. I checked search query performance, search volume to see which was the most searched to the least search. I check Helium 10 and I check Jungle Scout. All right. Now check this out. This is pretty cool. Again, this was just a complete random thing. I'm not trying to rig anything. This was literally the very first 5 words that I tried. The keywords that I chose were goth, gothic decor, gothic home decor, gothic, and goth decor. This is a very realistic situation here because you literally could make decisions like this for your Amazon listing, right? So if you notice, what I did was I made this chart. And again, you guys can watch this on YouTube later. I'm showing this on my screen here, the exact search I did, where I can see I put in the brand analytics search frequency rank. And based on that, it had it rank 1 through 5. And then I put the search query performance search volume. And I put the Helium 10 search volume. Now, let me just throw something out. You'll notice the search query performance search volume is actually very similar to the Helium 10 number. But let me tell you, the Helium 10 number is actually monthly search volume, just like I told you before. This search query performance is a week. So, some people might say, oh my goodness, Helium 10 is like 400% off. But again, search query performance is denormalized results. Like it's almost taking, I can see across the board, it's almost like 4x the normalized number of searches. All right. Now, regardless of which one you like let's say you want, I only want to look at normalized search results, or I only want to look at search volume that's denormalized. Regardless, check this out, because Helium 10 is doing it one way, search query performance is doing it another way, but look at the results. The rank of which is searched the most at least is identical from Helium 10 to these others. And actually, Jungle Scout is 100% identical. If you look at the rank of what it ranked it, all 4 of these data points, brand analytics, search query performance, Helium 10, Jungle Scout, you would have made the exact same decision, even though all of these numbers are different. But what's not different is the order, which is at the end of the day what is important, which is also why I like brand analytics, because it kind of simplifies things and just tells me the order of the rank of what is searched more. Now, here's something interesting, and this is why it's important to look at this on a week-to-week basis. And this is, again, why I'm not even considering Product Opportunity Explorer here, is because Product Opportunity Explorer only shows me search volume in a full month's time frame, right? Take a look here. 12/25 to 12/31. This is 1 week before this first week of information that I was giving you. The order changed, all right? Before, the least searched keyword was Gothic home decor in this list. Or I'm sorry, the least searched keyword was goth decor. But now, Gothic home decor was the least. But yet again, this is a completely different week. I pulled all of the information from all 4 tools. Every single one was, again, identical. So again, like I said, I don't know how Jungle Scout's algorithm is working, but whatever it is, it came out to right the same as Helium 10. It came out to the same as search query performance. It came out to the same as brand analytics. So this is, at the end of the day, important. Now, some of you might say, oh, I want to know the exact number. But guys, really, it's not that important. And the fact of the matter is there is no exact number. You have no idea what is the quote unquote real number. You can't even say it's the Amazon data because Amazon itself shows 3 different search volumes for the same exact keyword in the same exact time. So you can't just say, oh, one is more right than the other. You've got to pick which one that you're going to go with as your standard, and then you can compare data. But here, in this case, it doesn't matter which one you would have picked, whether it's Helium 10, whether it's search query performance, whether it's brand analytics, everything lines up. Now, it's not always like that. It's not, I'm going to show you another case study I did where it kind of deviates sometime. But at the end of the day, don't be so worried about the number, because remember, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're trying to prioritize. And unless something is way off, like by a factor of like 5 or 6, the order is going to be the correct order, and that you'll be able to properly prioritize your keywords. Now, the next case study that I did analyzing keywords, again, I tried to do real life, scenarios. Okay. So what I did was I actually went into search query performance and I took the top 198 keywords that Amazon was relating to one of the Manny's Mysterious Oddities products. I don't remember exactly which one it was. It could have been the coffin shelf. I don't even know. It's not important. I just copied those numbers. And then again, I went looking at brand analytics. I went comparing it to Helium 10 search volume. I compared it to the search query performance that I took it from, the search volume there. And then I also compared it to Jungle Scout. And for me, again, I like the normalized results, all right? Because that's a little bit better of an apples to apples comparison for me when it's normalized. Because, like, for example, I don't search things like 17 times in one day. I know other people do, but I'd rather look at the kind of way that I search as opposed to these people who are so indecisive. So that's why I like looking at the normalized number that brand analytics is showing. And so what I did was I actually took all of those keywords. All right. This took me forever to do. 198 keywords, home decor, floating shelves, bookshelf, et cetera, et cetera. I took brand analytics, search frequency rank. I put the Helium 10 search volume. I did the search query performance search volume, and I did Jungle Scout just for kicks and giggles to kind of like see. And as you can see, again, all of the numbers are like way all over the place. But how did it, like, let's say you're like me and you kind of want to use the brand analytics search frequency rank as kind of like your standard as far as what is searched the most to the least. Helium 10, out of those 198, we had it in the right order. 94.9% of them were right in line. It wasn't 100%, but 94.9% was right in line with search query performance. Jungle Scout was only 56%, right? But it's, again, I'm not trying to throw them under the bus or something. They're the ones who are always trying to say, oh, we're 3.7% more accurate, but this is a pretty big number. But at the end, don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. Again, not trying to throw under the bus. The point is, you still probably in most of these situations would have made a similar decision. But for all those who like to try and make this some kind of war of which one is more accurate, it's clear that Helium 10 is more accurate. But if you're out there and you're using Jungle Scout, I'll tell you right now, you're probably going to be okay. You are not going to make like a terrible decision because Jungle Scout is like so far off. The order is fairly similar. All right. So even though like 40-something% of the time it was off, but not by so much where it would have like caused you harm or something. But I was very proud of that 94.9%. And what I love about this is something that you guys can check yourself. All right. This is not, oh, I don't know if I can trust that Bradley did some kind of like test where he tried to manipulate the results to make Helium 10 look like it's the most accurate. No, this is like directly from search query performance. So go do it to your own. Go take your top 200 most searched keywords from search query performance, and then it's going to take you some time, but you can do this exact same test I did, and then also compare it to Helium 10. You'll see how accurate it is. But so that was the next test I did to see, all right, how does Helium 10 search volume stack up with brand analytics? All right, guys, I'm actually going to have to cut this episode off because we're going too long and there's just too much good stuff. I don't want you guys to have to listen to this for a full hour. So we're going to come back and then we're going to finish this off. I got some crazy stats and stuff that you've probably never seen before, showing what exactly search query performance is looking at and like how I tested it to try and break it. So make sure to come back to the next episode for the second part in this series.